Hey guys, Gabe Eltaeb here, bigmancomics.com. I'm going to scoot over there to the drawing desk. I'm going to be inking a little bit of a panel from page 13 or 14 of the Tyrus, the Unstoppable Tyrus graphic novel. If you love superheroes, if you love the Incredible Hulk, you love Ninja Turtles with mutants and weird stuff, but if you also love ancient mysteries like Indiana Jones and all that, you're going to love the Unstoppable Tyrus. I'm thinking of a summer release for this. It's going to be awesome. I got my microphone here, but I got to drag it over to the drawing desk. So let me move that over there. I'm going to turn on the camera for that. Okay, there we are. That's a camera looking directly at my iPad. I tried to connect my iPad to my computer to stream, and it won't see my iPad. So I updated the OS on my computer, and then I could see my iPad. And then the next day it wouldn't do it anymore. So I think I need to update the OS on my iPad. Anyway, let me jump over to the other desk, which is just like 3 feet away. I'm going to have the chat going on my phone and check it periodically. Feel free to comment. Feel free to jump in and let me know what you think of what I'm doing here. So what you're looking at there are actual pages of the Unstoppable Tyrus. This book is coming, and it's coming along nice. And it's all due to you guys and all your support of crowdfunding me at Big Man Comics. So let me move over here. All right. And then you see I got my phone right here. So I'm going to open the chat on this video on my phone right quick. And then let me open the page I was inking. And I'll show you how this works. So the great Cain, he's doing the pencils on this. And this is what I get here from him. So there's pencils. Some of it is a little loose, like that face there. Some of it's more done and stuff. But he's just such an amazing illustrator. Animator for Disney. Guy's a 30-something-year veteran of just being a badass. I love working with him. We work on Cain together. We work on all kinds of stuff together. And I love doing this with him. He's truly amazing. So let me, why can't I get the chat to come up on my phone? So when I get inks like this, what I do is I put a layer of just brown over it to save my eyes. It's not good to be staring at really white things or really blue light. So I use like a muted yellow. And I'll put it over there and put it to like a 90% saturation. So what you'll see here, I'll show you another thing. So this is a stylistic change here. So when he does a face like that isn't finished, or some of the stuff here needs to be changed on this guy, I'll go back in and repencil it myself. You know, his pencils are guidelines for me. This is no disrespect to him. He's a master illustrator. But here he's just suggesting some stuff. And the agreement I have with Cain is, since he's such a master, it's like a mentor and apprentice kind of thing with me and him, that I want him to teach me to draw better. He already laid out Truth, Justice, American Way for me, and he's not doing layouts on Tyrus for me. He's doing full pencils, but it's kind of with the 5% layout concept, where if I want to change something or alter something, I will, with full respect to Cain, because again, he's a true master, and I couldn't be happier. So here's a stylistic difference. His face for the woman, Cindy, she's our female lead, absolutely perfect face. He's a genius illustrator, Cain. I like to go with a bit more 90s image, Victoria's Secret, more done up makeup and stuff like that. So that's just a stylistic choice of mine. So his pencils, are 90% done. I'm going to go bam like that. So I'll show you guys a little bit of ink over here. I'm trying to fire up the video on my phone so that I can also read your chat, because what the hell? But when I click on the video right here, it's not going into it. So there's a bit of a problem. Let me see. Mighty Geek Studio says, what's new, Gabe? What's new is getting this book done for you guys. That's what's new. So that's what I'm trying to. You know what I'll do? I'll go over to Twitter and click my own link to watch myself live. That's what I'll do. And that way I can see the dang chat, because it's not popping up, and we're stalling for time here. I don't like this at all. Let's see. Okay. Let's check the link. Oh, tap to unmute. Let's see. Okay, no, I do need to mute it. Okay, so where's the live chat now? I don't even see the chat. Guys, I'm not sure what to do about the chat. I'll run between desks. So I'm using a iPad Pro. Mine's about 3 years old. I'm using Procreate, which when I bought it was $9.99, one-time fee. And I'm using Clayton Henry's Ink Bleed. It's the only pen I use. The only other one I use, I made up one for like leaves and bushes, so I can like do trees and stuff faster. And I have a plus and a minus on that. 2-finger tap is undo. But the only pen I use for like the 99% of everything else I do is this regular ink pen, because I want my work to look like ink. I don't want it to look digital. because I think there's a lot of young artists out there. No criticism, they're pros, they're doing as good a job as they can, but their stuff, it looks like it was done digitally, and I don't want that for myself because I love to draw analog. The choice was made for the Unstoppable Tyrus to do this digitally to get it done faster, and I don't believe in rushing or anything like that, but oh, this layer's hidden. What the hell, dude? So I inked the background already, right? I already inked the background. And here we go. I'll ink this face and maybe a little bit more for you guys. But I'll have to jump back in and check the chat. You know what I mean? So I zoom way in when I do this. I'm not sure why. Because in real life, you'd never be able to see this close to the paper unless you got out like an insane magnifying glass, right? So I'm not sure why I do this, but it just feels right to me on the iPad. And I think Clayton Henry's pen is so good. I think it works so well, this digital pen that he had. It's for sale on his Gumroad. I think it was $5 when I bought it 3 years ago. You know what I mean? So, but if you can afford it, get yourself an iPad Pro. Now, this is only if you know how to draw, because I grew up painting and drawing and on all the traditional tools of art, right? So I learned how to do everything, pastels. I've done sculpture, pottery, all of it. Get yourself a traditional education in art, because I find the young generation, these young kids, learning digitally, they are missing a lot, because this thing, it does fill in things for you. You know what I mean? It does help you with a lot. It doesn't draw for you. That's impossible. What it does is it streamlines things for you. And it kind of like, it can help you with certain processes that need to be, things that are redundant, things that might take a long time like that. It'll help you with those. See, and this is the kind of thing you can't really do with ink, where I redrew that line on the lip 3 times until I really liked what I had there. And again, I go in so far. I don't know. This is only going to print like this big, I think, or maybe about that big. But I get in there. I don't know why. And you have to be careful with that, because when something is zoomed out, like in real life, it's going to be way zoomed out. It's abstracted. And when you think of abstract art, what the media told you, for those of you that are not artists, abstract art is weird art. That's not what the word abstract means. Abstract just means simplified. So when something is abstracted, it's simplified, and you don't want too many details. If you're like beep, 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 all these details in here, when it shrinks, that like disappears, or it'll turn into wallpaper. So I have to have a balance of, yes, I can do this infinite zoom, you know what I mean? But I need to be very careful doing that. And I've got a handle. I've been doing hundreds of pages on the iPad for the last few years. Let me look at the chat real quick. Alpha Proto, hi Gabe. I just got back from commenting on your Sonic via versus the Lion King video. Yeah, a Sonic the Hedgehog comes with my highest recommendation. And let's see. Alpha Proto says, I agree with you about moral relativism is affecting media and society. I don't want you to get mobbed as being woke, right? Like a lot of people did. Oh, who cares about the dummy saying woke, right? Those people can listen. What about me? What you've seen from me makes you think I would care what anyone thinks about me? You don't do what I've done if you care. If I'm making choices based on what people think about me, I'm not living right. Okay, I want to crank this a little more. The opacity here. Unlock that layer and turn it up just a little to kind of lower the contrast on it, because I want to see my inks more. And then I lock that layer. I always lock layers so you don't actually blend your inks into it, because you don't want to be inking all this black stuff and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, that layer's combined with a color layer that has details I don't want. And believe me, all of us that are working digitally, we've done these things. We've done these things to ourselves, so yeah, there's no such thing as woke, right? That's for, listen, here's my take on that. You can't sit up here and be anti-woke like I and many have been, and you're against degeneracy and you're against filth, because that's why I'm against it. The left always say, oh, it's you're racist, you don't like diversity, you don't like this, you don't like that. And I'm like, that's silly. No, it's like, I don't want any sort of filth. I don't care where it's coming from. I don't want filth in the work. I believe in free speech, but you're not going to catch me making that stuff. You can't sit up there and criticize Marvel and DC and Disney and all of it, and then turn around and do your own semi-pornographic whatever. You can't. You have no credibility when you do things like that. You just don't. You have zero credibility when you act like that. And it isn't woke right. I mean, there's a difference between right and wrong, isn't there? And it's not, oh, who's to say what's right and wrong? We know what's right and wrong. We do. We're all well aware of what's right and wrong, and you can feel it in your bones. And what's right for you may not be right for me. That's dumb. That's a weak person talking. Okay, so no, and if someone called me woke right, they're welcome to. It will literally have zero effect on my life. Okay, I cannot tell you how little I care about something like that. It just doesn't bother me at all. It just not. You're not going to intimidate me. I'm not cut from that kind of stock. I'm not that kind of person, you know. So, yeah, I don't care, man. Call me whatever. It just doesn't matter. Just get my name right. Get the spelling right if you're going to say something about me. So yeah, the fun thing about the iPad is just efficiency. So again, I told you I've been drawing for 30, 40, whatever, since I was a very little boy. I'm 40, I think I'm 46 now, 46 years old now. And you ever have a year where you didn't know how old you were? When I was 34, I couldn't figure out if I was 33 or 34 half the time when it would come up. I have no idea why that happened that year. It was very strange. It was very, very strange. But yeah, what was it? I was talking about the woke right stuff. I don't care. That's people like, because to me, if you're screaming woke right, then you're proving the leftist right that you were a bigot. Because let's say, okay, I didn't want to work on the Superman Son of Kal-El for two reasons. It was anti-American and it had the sex life of underage people. Now people say, oh, it's because they're gay or whatever or bi. No, I wouldn't want to work on the sex lives of heterosexual people that are underage or even of age. I don't do porno comics. I don't do sex stuff. I don't do that. That's not what I do for a living. I want to be proud of everything I do. And I want my kids and my mom and my dad and everyone to be able to enjoy my work. I don't want to do stuff like that. Free speech, people who want to make that, make it, but I'm not going to tell you it's cool. I'll tell you it's filth. And I don't care if you're right wing or left wing. And that isn't the woke right. What a stupid idea. There's no such thing as the woke right. And again, you can't decry filth from the left, woke filth, and then make right-wing filth. You can't do that. That's not a thing. You're just a hypocrite, and hypocrites should never be taken seriously. Because I would say it does bolster their argument that you're a bigot, and here's why. If you're against the gay, sex, romance, whatever, in Superman Son of Kal-El, because they're underage and you don't want to do this, but then you're publishing stuff with, strippers and this and that and all heterosexual thing, then yeah, it was really just the gayness that bothered you. It wasn't that it was filth. So yeah, to me, I'm not okay with any filth, and that isn't woke right. That's, I don't want to hurt my fellow man by making filth. Okay, that's being a good person. You don't want to make crappy stuff, because when you make filth, you hurt people. You do. You diminish their life. It's like being a drug dealer or something like that. You wouldn't do that. So here's a fun thing that this does. So you could set your eraser to a pen. Your erasers are pen shapes. So if I want to go in and do some negative space on the hair, look what you can do here. Now, see, I can do this in ink, but if you do this in ink, you're going to have to get out paint brushes and white paint and maybe do a couple coats and stuff. And you can do this in seconds here, right? Where you're just erasing some of your pencils, and it's giving you this awesome negative space look here. So this is quite slow doing it, doing it and talking and all that. Let me go check the chat really quick. So there's a face I inked real quick. We'll shrink it so you can see real quick. So yeah, so there's pencils to inks there. And then again, those are my pencils, because the original penciled face was this just layout of a face, just landmarks. So then I penciled in a face, and then we get that. So that's kind of the process here. The Tyrus book, you're going to freaking love it. It's so good. Let me go check the chat. Emily Kruger says, hail. Alpha Proto says hello to Emily. And then Hardy Harmonica says, hi, everyone. Right, guys. So hit the like and hit the share and all that, please. Let's move that up. Let's do this female face and a little bit of her hair. This is our great female character, Cindy. It's a little funny drawn over here because I'm like, the camera's right here. So this is where my head belongs. So I'm leaned over to the left. It's a little uncomfortable, but I do it for you guys. So here we go. So we're going to get the outline of her face, kind of a little bit in there, out for the cheek, and then shoot it down right there. We'll come around here on the jawbone. And there's your chin. Yeah, Acheon, the guy who's penciling this, he just gives the most amazing structure. I just love what's going on here. Now, one thing I learned when I was in high school, middle school, high school, when I first started wanting to become a professional illustrator and all that, is that with the female face, for the aesthetics that I enjoy and what most people enjoy, less is more. So you need to know more about anatomy. You need to know more about drawing, lighting, shading, all the principles of art and light and physics, the physics of light and optics and the way all that works, because this is anecdotal and not literally true, but it's directionally accurate what I'm about to say. Every line you add to a female character's face, you're adding 5 years, right? So I don't want to do that. I want the female characters to be as beautiful as possible, because looking at beauty, it does make you feel good. Literally, like you'll have chemicals released in your brain. I think like what is it, acetylcholine and oxytocin and all the good feel good stuff. So yeah, you do want to have aesthetics. It's why those people, all those woke weirdos that make the ugly characters on purpose, like in video games and comic books, where they kind of uglify women and uglify everything. It's unpleasant and it's intentional. You know, they're doing it intentionally. But let me make sure she's not bug-eyed or cross-eyed. You want to balance your eyes. One mistake people make is they'll do that, where the iris is touching the eyelashes in one eye and not in the other. You got to pick a lane. If you're doing this and they're not touching, then it can't touch in either, because that would be insane. That would look crazy. Now, usually seeing the white over the top of someone's eyes is, there's a word for it in Japanese that's real funny. I forgot what it is. It's usually implying mania, craziness, you know, someone's crazed. But here it's just a little bit of amusement. And she's trying to diffuse a situation where Greg, he's kind of a bad guy in this story. He's not a great guy. He hates Tyrus. Where Greg is kind of getting after Tyrus here. And she kind of comes and breaks it up. So, but she comes in doing what I think ladies do best, being sweet and pleasant. But she's also being forceful. So it's really a play on the female psychology there, that women are so good at being passive aggressive. You know, they're getting stuff done and it kind of doesn't look like what it really is. Women are excellent at that. Oh, so the reason that, okay, so what you do in this is when you make a shape, you can fill it in by dragging it from this corner over here. But if the shape is open and you drag it, it'll just fill like until it runs into borders. So that's why that did that when I hit the lip. It wasn't closed up here. So yes, these look jaggy, but remember how small this stuff is going to be when it actually prints. Oops, I did it again. So that must, so some of these lines that are just a little gray, this is called anti-aliasing here. If it was bitmap, things would either be black or white. They would not give you a choice there. Yeah, so yeah, I really am in love with this book. I'm having a great time. This is page 14, and we're gonna get this thing done for you guys. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, one thing, if you want to draw a long line, I'll draw a dot here and I'll start here. If you want to hit that line and your pencil's up here, stare at this, and it's so much easier to hit it. That's what I learned from Ryan Benjamin over at Wildstorm. You know what I mean? And you can get wacky. You can get curved and then hit it. And look, see, I hit it because I stared at it. So that's just a tiny drawing tip that when you're pulling a line, because you don't always want, because they sell curved rulers, but you don't want to use a curved ruler all the time. You want to do them by hand so they have a little bit of imperfection. That human imperfection adds that, as they say in French, je ne sais quoi. Let me check the chat really quick. What's over here? Ciao, sorry, got a call. Oh, Cranberry Lakers came out. Hardy Harmonica says Senpaku eyes. That's the crazy eyes. Okay, thank you for that, buddy. I knew I had read it somewhere and it made me laugh, because I don't speak any Japanese, but it sure as hell sounded funny, the concept of senpaku eyes. So one thing I think that is missing in a lot of illustration is, in a lot of art, let's not pick on illustration, is playfulness. You got to be okay with being wacky, with doing unrealistic things. I think when you're young, and I'm guilty of this, I was guilty of this when I was young, you're a little insecure when you're a teenager and you're learning to draw, and you're really feeding off that, whoa, Gabe knows how to draw, and people are so impressed. And sorry, I'm thinking and drawing at the same time. Well, thinking about talking and drawing. People are so impressed, and you want to draw too many details. You want to be photorealistic to prove it. And you see guys that never grow out of that, and that's fine. If they can make a career as a pro doing too many details, like God love them, because they're the ones that got to waste their time drawing too many details. So, but I think it's much more impressive, and I won't name names because I don't want to be a hater or be mean. The people that are super detail heavy, and I'm a bit detail heavy, but I wouldn't say overly because I'm very aware of it, and I'm aware to try not to go crazy with it. The people that are too detail heavy, and versus like a Steve Rude and Alex Toth, where you just, yeah, it's okay. And the reason I brought that up is this line here of hair right there crossing over the eyebrow. Now in real life, you would never see that eyebrow, right? It's covered with hair, but you do it anyway because it's more playful. And you have to have an emotional, like, security to do things like that. I'm telling you, when I was a young illustrator, I wouldn't want to do things like that because it's like, oh, it's not realistic, you know? And it's like, you got to be photorealistic to prove you have the chops. And that's a bunch of crap. You don't. What you got to do is work hard, and you don't work for the audience, believe it or not. And that's no insult to you guys. You work for the love of art. That's what you do. You say, how can I make this the best it can be? And if you focus on that, and focus on making yourself the best you can be, and not on what the audience thinks or the audience reaction that everybody wants, the praise and the commercial and critical success, it will come. But if you focus on the commercial success and all that, and you're afraid to draw the way you want to draw, then it's going to be harder. It's going to be a lot harder to get to the good stuff, because you'll be being inauthentic. You'll be fighting your instincts. You'll be saying, "Oh, I shouldn't draw that way because what would the audience say?" And you got to say, "Damn that, dude! I gotta what does art demand? What does art tell me I have to do? You know, what are the principles of art and truth and beauty when I'm trying to make this stuff? What are they telling me to do?" And that is what you got to focus on. And that takes a while. That's hard. That's hard to get there emotionally, because when you are doing art, you're doing self-expression, and nobody wants to be humiliated in public. You know, scientific research shows the number one fear that males have, this is a gender-specific thing, is humiliation. That's the number one fear. It's not physical pain or death or anything like that. It's actually being humiliated is what men fear most. And I think that's why women insult you so bad and call you a small little loser when they want to hurt you, because I think women know this inherently. And I mean, men have egos, right? But your ego, you should use it as a tool, use it for good. I mean, look at the Great Pyramids. Do you think men have egos? Yeah, a little bit. You know, we want to say we were here. We want to say we mattered. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I'm going to go check the chat again. I have to run between my computer and my iPad, which are at desks next to each other. And I stand while I'm working. This is a standing desk. So I'll run over to the other one real quick. But again, remember, this stuff's going to be really small when it prints, and I get way in there on the detail. Let's see what the chat has to say over here. GraphWeb says, great to watch. Thank you, GraphWeb. Cowboy Bebop says, do you plan on releasing tutorials for inking and coloring in the future of your channel? You know, I've thought about that, but it's a lot of production. We have more time, more money, some more employees, people to edit, stuff like that. Sure, I'll do art like this, record it, and then let someone edit it, and we can make lessons, maybe. See if the audience like that. Let's go back in the chat here. Alpha Proto says, I loved T-Jaw. He's talking about Truth, Justice, American Way. I loved your storytelling. You gave so much information in so few pages. After opening the book, everything felt so familiar. I understood the world and was ready to jump in. That is credit to Akeon for doing layouts for me. His storytelling is the best ever. Listen, I've worked with dozens and dozens, probably into the hundreds of artists in my career, Marvel and DC, mostly DC, Image, Dark Horse, IDW, you name it, I've worked there. He's the best comic book artist I've ever worked with, by far. And it's because he comes from animation. I worked with a few different guys that worked in animation, and they were always the strongest illustrators, because animating is true visual storytelling. And they learn it on such a deeper level than comic book artists. And he blows me away. Let's see. Antoine Haynes says Ryan Benjamin's great. And also, to continue on that, why you love the story, and I was able to fit so much in. I'm pretty dang good at writing and dialogue. I thank God for that gift. It comes naturally to me. I've always been a great writer since I was a little kid. It's just something that comes naturally to me. Let's see. Alpha Proto, my favorite type of comics are the kind I can just pick up and read. They are very inviting and have that episodic feel to them. Well, that's the way I write. I write what would I like? What makes me love stories? I love stories. I've never been able to shut up my whole life. I've always told stories since I was a little boy. So when I write, I don't write for you guys. I don't write for the audience. And I mean that in a kind way. I write, like I said earlier, to respect art. What are the artistic principles of writing? That's what I write to. And I write, what do I like? And I have good taste. I do. I know I have good taste in stories. Let's see. GraphWeb for $2. Cancel Disney Plus. Damn right, GraphWeb. Cancel them. I didn't go to Disneyland this year around December like I was supposed to because I want to boycott Disney and I don't give them money. And dude, it hurt not to go because I love going to Disneyland. I freaking love going to Disneyland because of the artistry there, the Imagineering. It's so great, you know. It's spectacular. And I think her shoulder's about here. Let me go into another layer and draw the shoulder and make sure I get this right. See, and that's another thing. One thing that holds artists back the most is not taking your time, right? Okay, so that's where that shoulder is, behind that hair there. Not taking time, because I could have just started drawing and so, I think the shoulder's here. And but like to just take the extra 2 seconds to go find out where it is. And yeah, just go. And oh, who was that in there? It was Antoine Haynes. Guys, Antoine Haynes has a great channel where he's been interviewing people and stuff. Antoine, will you put a link to your stuff into the chat and then I'll pop it up on the screen? Antoine interviewed me like a year ago or something like that. It was really fun. He's got a great studio. I'd come back again, man. Escondido, that's where my wife lived when in high school, when we were dating back in high school. So yeah, so I'm guys, you don't know how happy I am. I can't stress it enough how happy those of you that have bought my books and supported me. We have such huge plans. I was talking with some partners this week about some huge deals about when and how this stuff's going to come out. We have Empyrean, Earth Illuminated, and that is that's done. That's penciled, 120 pages. The colors are being handled by someone else who's a pro's pro. They're finishing the colors. I started the colors, but I needed to write some more books, and I needed to draw this book. Well, inking it. I'm inking off Acheon's pencils here. So I did not finish the colors, but I found someone who's a multi-decade pro that was excited to work with me on it, and I couldn't be happier about that. So you're going to love it. He's matching my style, and it's going to be fantastic. And you're going to be hearing a lot more about that book coming out, and it's going to be a gigantic announcement. You'll see why. You'll see why. People everywhere are going to be talking about it. It's awesome, the stuff that's going down with that. So, yeah, I feel so privileged and happy that you guys are along with me on the ride here, because when I win, you guys are winning too, because believe it or not, I believe in the culture war. And I yeah, criticize Disney, this and that. I do believe in that. But for those of us that can make the art that's different, that we need to. We don't just need to, like, I will keep making YouTube videos and calling out filth. I will. But I also need to sit my butt down and do this. And this is more important. Calling them out, that's very important. And there are people that do it bigger than me and all that, obviously. And we all need to call them out because evil needs sunlight on it. It's the best disinfectant, right? That's what they say. But then those of us that can make good content to replace it, we have to. We're obligated to, you know. And people make fun. Oh, you think you're saving the world, this, that, and the other. No. I'm doing my part. It's like, have you ever been part of a team? It's like, you know, football was a big part of my education as a young man of just how the world works and how I should conduct myself. And I may not be the quarterback or the running back or something, but I'm part of the team and I'm part of the reason why we win. And what else should I do? Nothing. You know, should I just do nothing? Like, what was I born for? Why am I here? You know, to do nothing, to be nothing? No, thank you. No, thank you, and no way in hell. That's never going to be me. So yes, those of us that can, we have to. Those of you that can't do it, well, make sure to speak up. And then when we put something on sale like this, at least consider, did I earn your business? Did I earn your business to entertain you with a thrilling comic, you know, and one with uplifting morals? I saw Sonic the Hedgehog the other night. The last movie I saw before the lockdowns was Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I saw that with my wife in the theater, and I loved it. And there's nothing woke in it. There's nothing woke in it. It's not filthy in any way. There's no, you know, anti-God, anti-America, anti-family, pushing weird stuff on kids about, you know, their gender. There's nothing going on in Sonic. It's just fun. And Jim Carrey could not be sillier or funny. Because those of you that watch my content, you know I don't like comedy movies because they always just go right into the gutter. They always go right in the freaking toilet, the comedy movies. I hate that. I was raised like we don't watch filth, and it ain't a joke. We don't. That's how I was raised. We don't watch it. That's why I hate Deadpool. My most hated movie is Junior because it's stupid. Junior, where Arnold Schwarzenegger has a baby. That is my most hated. My second most hated movie is Deadpool. And the people are like, oh, it's funny. You damn right it's funny. I didn't say evil wasn't fun. It's, it can be fun to be bad. You shouldn't be bad. You shouldn't do drugs. You shouldn't do degenerate bullshit. But how is Deadpool making people's lives better? By just teaching them this complete moral relativity. So that's why I'm so happy that Sonic is a runaway hit, because you can't find anything on it that's filthy. You just can't. And if there was, it went over my head. I didn't see anything that said that God was terrible or America sucks or let's all be pervs or whatever. I didn't see any of that in that movie. And I haven't seen the second one. I just didn't go see it, but I loved the first. And I told my wife, I don't know if we need to see the second one to see the third. I don't know if they all go together or something. But we went and saw it, and it was, literally like the way young girls say nowadays, literally laugh out loud funny. There was a part me and my wife were laughing. That's the first time I've laughed out loud in the theater in years. Now look at that. Ay, que linda, as they say in Spanish, right? Another thing I altered, stylistic thing, is the chest. I do make it a little bit bigger. That's just a personal preference. But yeah, so here's where we started. Let's take the ink off. So here's where we started. I'm going to end the stream here because this is making me really slow, and I want to finish this whole page today. So here's where we started. So I get gorgeous layout pencils, amazing storytelling from Akeon. Guy's a master. I go in, I look at it. I almost never touch his pages, but I see a face like this, and it's just basic landmarks. It's not done. And her face is gorgeous, but not the style I want to do. So I redraw it. You see, I just redraw a little bit. And over here, I just redraw it, right? Just because I get what he's saying, so then I finish it. And then we go in and we ink it, baby. We ink it. So I'm going to get going with this. You guys are going to love the Unstoppable Tyrus. Go to bigmancomics.com. I'm going to check the chat one more time, and then we'll go. Ask me a question or two, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Let's see. Let's see. Hello, how are you doing tonight? This is Steel Leg of History. Be blessed. Next month I'll be 45. I'm 46, buddy, and I should be starting his new fake leg and will be using J and X-Wing pirate shirt on his leg. Be blessed. All right, Steel Leg. I love you hanging in there and being positive with your challenges with your leg and all that. That's awesome to see, brother. Let's see. Alpha Proto. I appreciate having alternatives to the mainstream. I love comics, but I can't support what Marvel and DC are making. Same with TV shows and movies. No problem with the mediums, just the products. Yeah. And it's a shame too, because the artists and writers and actors and everything, they're better than ever. Let me turn this back on. They're better than ever. They are better than ever. You know what I mean? We have better art. We have better 3D. We have better sound effects. We have the opportunity to make the best stuff ever. I was watching The Little Mermaid the other day for about the fourth time this week, because I got it on DVD for 25 cents for my granddaughter. And she loves it. She calls it Mimi. That's how she says mermaid, because she's only 2 years old. And she loves it. She's captivated. She's sitting there smiling. I'm almost brought to tears at the end of that movie, because I love art so much, and it's so good, that movie. There's nothing woke. There's nothing perverted. There's nothing bad. They don't say your dad sucks, God sucks, America sucks. They don't say that. They say the heroism is good. They say that making a mistake and recovering and having discipline and being loving and kind and brave and forthright. They say wonderful things. They cover it in delicious illustrations, beautiful colors, beautiful animation, all of it. And I was telling my wife, we're watching it, I'm like, it's 30 years later, Disney can't do this anymore. They have better technology. The state of the art is further along, and they can't do this anymore because they're so tied up in their bullshit, woke, leftist filth. Ugh. Ugh. Let's see. Will you ever announce the name of the multi-decade colorist? Only if he wants to. Let's see. Alpha Proto says, I used to love Deadpool. That was the Ragu Overlord. He's a Ragu Overlord. He rules over the spaghetti sauce. Let's see. Alpha Proto, I used to love Deadpool. I collected every book up until 2014. Marvel making the character such a goof is why I abandoned the comics in 2014. The writers ruined him. Yeah, I don't like filth. Sorry. Johnny Truth, fleshing the turd up north, probably going to win. Yeah, let's get Trudeau out of there and get, is it Polivair? Let's get him in. Guys, hit the like, hit the share. Tomorrow night on Wednesday, the Blues Brothers, Jericho and myself, 7 p.m. Pacific. If you like this drawing stream, let me know. Hit the like right now. Everybody watching, hit the share. Let's put this out there. I think people will be excited to see this comic book being made. I'm doing what I can to get it done before July, before Comic-Con. I will not promise that because I don't want to make promises and break them. Right now, I'm on track. Cross your fingers. Right now, I'm on track for that. But, you know, things happen. You got to stop. You got to do this because I still have to do all the dialogue for Empyrean. I have to check any color correction when the colors will be done in a few weeks. I have to design that book. And then we have a big campaign. I want to tell you guys so badly about what's going on with Empyrean. It's so exciting. You'll see. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, man. It's going to be a great time. And all right, later on, I'm going to finish and get this page. Bye-bye.